Look at this, you've gone your whole lives without a video from me, and then 2 videos in 1 week. But I figured there's not much point doing a breakdown video 3 months after the track day. So I thought I'd just quickly pop out. Even did it when it's dusk, look, make it a little bit romantic for you. But otherwise, yeah, no idea what I'm gonna do. I haven't scripted anything. Let's chuck it out there, see what happens. I'll be honest, the first part of my video was originally gonna be damage report, because I quite honestly thought I was gonna have a huge amount to report back on of all the things that went terribly, terribly wrong, and actually didn't. I'll be honest, there is only one negative thing for my entire trip, for that whole 220 odd miles, and that is that my exhaust now is blowing slightly more than it was before. I don't know about you, but I'm classing that as a win, because if you can go on a road trip like that in a car this old and it's ill prepared, a leaking exhaust is pretty decent. But that is not to say that I've not come away from it with something, and that is one, a pretty decent idea of what this car would need to be even more fun, and I would say, dare say it, more competitive. But also, I'd probably say I am absolutely bitten by the bug. I'm very much annoyed that I've not done a track day or anything until the age of 37, which is what I am currently sitting at. Yeah, so I might just jump into the car, because I've got to be honest, I feel like a bit of a plum doing this outside and people keep walking past. And I'm going to take you through what I hope will be a very brief rundown of what I think this car needs and what you might need to do to your car should you do anything similar. So, okay, we'll start from the first thing. I'm speaking to you now from the roomy cabin of the Slug, which is still in, dare I say it, full race mode. I haven't put the back seats back in it, basically. It is still rattling around in here, but otherwise, so evaluation. I would say, and this is debatable, power was not my problem. Power did not stop me having a good time. I mean, don't get me wrong, if I had twice as much power, happy days. I mean, I'd have been absolutely screaming around and loving life. I would say braking was fine. If anything, the only thing affecting the braking was me. I think just years of driving on the road and driving fast on the road, I was braking too early and not hard enough. So I needed to brake basically later and harder. It's a bit of a weird habit to get into. It feels unnatural, but I will say as the day was going on, it was happening. That was probably what was really drilling my times down. I would say tyres, give or take, I think you could probably get away with a decent road tyre like this. There really wasn't a lot of time to warm them up unless you hot lapped it, which is difficult when you've got other people there anyway. So when it really boils down to it, and here's something I'm sure none of you have ever heard before, so I'm breaking real groundbreaking news here, suspension. Now, I'm obviously not the first person to tell you that suspension is the most important thing on a track car, but I would say the only thing that probably let this car down was the front shocks. I would say the rear, actually, pretty bang on. It's a touch on the bumpy side, but actually the rear end followed it round pretty well. If you just come off the gas a little bit, the back end would just slowly catch up, and it was good. But the front, as you will see from some of the photos I will probably pitch up now, leans like mad. Like, I didn't necessarily actually pick it up much on the day, but it does pitch really badly into the corners. So this leads on to the first level of modifications. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know whether I'm going to keep these 14s on here or not. Now, I actually really like it, and annoyingly, even though I've stolen from the turbo one, it's actually started to become a little bit of the identity of this car. So people kind of associate the two together. So I've got a horrible feeling that the turbo is going to have to find itself a new pair of wheels. But what I think I'm going to do, potentially, at least on the front end, maybe steal the KYBSR shocks I've got on the turbo one and then upgrade the turbos. I just get a feeling they're not going to be able to cope with the kind of power that car is going to put out. But on here, they will be mint. I think they will be spot on. But I also think that because my tyres really did get an absolute amount of use. I mean, considering this thing's light, they did start looking a little bit worse for wear by the end of the day. I mean, my mate said they were fine, and I know they are, but being picky, really, I think driving there and ragging it on the same set of tyres, you could do it. But I mean, I daily this car as well, so I definitely need to get a spare set of wheels and probably just some Yokkos, probably just some Yokohamas, nothing mental. But then this leads me on to, and I'm going to be annoying here because I'm not actually going to tell you what I'm going to do, but the next modifications I'm definitely going to be doing to this car. Now, despite everything I just said about this engine having enough power, I am afraid to say that I have actually had a little bit of an idea for something that might make this just a little bit more peachy. Do you know what? I take it back. There is something wrong with this car after the trip. Now, shutting the bonnet on this was always a freaking nightmare, but now I near enough have to put my entire body through it. Now, admittedly, that's not even 12 stone, but that is really freaking annoying. I just had a couple of people walk past me while I'd just been slamming this like I hated it. So bonnet pins or some sort of aero catches are happening on this goddamn car, whether I take it or not. Bucket seat. Now, you heard me say about a bucket seat. I don't really like the idea of driving 2 hours in a fixed back bucket. I'm getting older, I will say. But in the same light, like, I absolutely cannot say that I couldn't have done with one. It was hard work holding on, and it was an absolute nightmare. So I've got a cheapo Cobra Monaco. It's pretty ropey, but it's in keeping with the car, man. Like, it's too nice would be wrong. So I'm going to chuck that in here. I have got harnesses. It feels a little overkill, but again, I've gotten just some 3-point TRS harnesses, so I'll bin those in here as well. I've actually got a little Momo wheel, but I got to be honest, I mean, arguably not a looker, but it's quite a small wheel, and I think it's actually fine. So, and as I said, my motto is spend money where you need it. Don't waste money on stuff there's no need for if you don't have the money. Same as you can cut corners. It is fine. Don't let anyone tell you that it's not fine to cut corners if it doesn't need to be good. So just say, for argument's sake, on the turbo one, I'll get to this another day, it's got a catch can on it. Does a catch can need to be mental? Probably not. I mean, if you're running a race drag car or a race car, then yes. But on a road car, no. I got a cheapo one off eBay. Do your brakes need to be good? Yes. Don't cut corner on brakes. But otherwise, yes, don't spend money where you don't need to spend money. Life lesson from Ben Crook. But what are you doing to the engine, Ben? Now, this is where I'm going to be one of those annoying YouTubers that just gives you a little sprinkle. I'm doing something to the engine and then not telling you what it is. But I'm not being annoying. I just don't want to make promises I can't keep. So I'm currently in the processes of pricing up, mocking up, researching a little idea I've had. And I will say the engine's staying. I'm not getting past the 900cc. I've got a 1242cc turbo. I've driven 1100 turbos. I'm loving the 900cc at the moment, so that engine is staying. It is also not going to be a turbo because I've got a turbo already. But something's happening, and something, I hope, why am I pointing so much, that's going to make it interesting. So, recap. Better front suspension, potentially a spare set of wheels or better tyres, bucket seat, harness. And I'll be honest with you, that is all it needs. I probably would be tempted to do nothing more other than maybe tidy up a few bits, but I think the engine is going to get my tweaks at some point. But initially, at least, that's my list. And that's all you need. Guarantee it. With those tweaks, I would go to another track day and I would be just as buzzing, but if not quicker. So that's it. That is it. The emphasis of this video is to tell you that absolutely nothing is wrong with this car after my trip, and it only needs potentially a couple £100 thrown at it. So there you go, a chestnut of information from your tall, bold, Wornout Racing YouTube channel owner. Otherwise, there wasn't meant to be a lot of scripting to this video, as you almost certainly would have guessed, but I wanted to get something back out there. By the way, huge thanks to the people that have subscribed so far. I've actually had quite a lot of views, which I'm buzzing about. Hopefully keep it up. And again, hopefully, and look, I kept the camera the right way this time. No tiny little video, check that out. I'm learning already. But I will end this video by saying that I will try and keep you updated with future things coming up on this car and the other one. I've got a video coming fairly soon on the turbo one. I just got to get a little bit better day with the weather so I can wheel it out and do a video. And I'm just going to basically ride it as we go. I've got no idea where this is going or what I'm going to do. But come along for the journey. If you like it, subscribe. If you don't worry about it. But until then, I will catch you on the flip side. Catch you on the flip side. I've literally never said catch you on the flip side in my entire life. So I'm going to end that with, stay safe. I'll catch you soon.